I have with me a guest today, Sari Botton, and she's somebody I wanted to talk to. We met through a mutual friend, Noah Rosenberg, who runs Narratively on Substack. You should follow Narratively. It's all about writing. A lot of writers on there, and Sarah, Sarah. Sorry, I'm sorry. Sorry,
Sari.
sorry. I knew I'd get it wrong. You can call me Liz if you want. uh, so a bio. Sarah Botton is the author of the memoir and you may find yourself Confessions of a Late Blooming Gen X Weirdo. She edited 2 bestseller anthologies, Goodbye to All That, Writers on Loving and Leaving New York, and Never Can Say Goodbye, Writers on Their Unshakable Love for New York. That sounds like me. She publishes Ulster Magazine, Memoirland, and Adventures in Journalism. All those are on Substack, is that correct?
That is true. That is true.
She has an Ulster anthology forthcoming from Harper One in the fall 2027, and an Ulster podcast sponsored by Ruth Ann Harnish coming soon. That's great.
Yeah, lots
You're
going
busy.
on.
You're busy.
I am. I really am.
Yeah, I think we share that. We like to be busy. I like to be busy.
Yeah, I think about the Miranda Priestley character in The Devil Wears Prada 2, who at the end confesses to her underling and biographer, I like to work, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, it keeps me from. It just keeps me going. Keeps me from being depressed. Frankly,
Yeah, me too.
like
Me too.
yeah. But also we have not only do we have Substack in common, but and guys, I'm gonna talk with Sari for a little bit, and then I'll turn around and draw something while we're talking, something related to one of her endeavors. And I have a couple of captions for it. I haven't figured out which one works, and I want your input, and the audience can give us input too on the captions that I've come up with. Um, so you and I, we're old enough to have started in the print era. And we
That's
talked
true.
about this not long ago. So who were you working for initially when you started out as a writer?
My first bylines were with the I Love New York campaign. I was an intern there and I wrote these travel stories that were then picked up by small publications around the state. And then I had an internship at New York Newsday where they just threw me in the deep end and put me on the arts desk. And for 3 months, I was an arts journalist.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. Then I got stuck in a trade magazine rut. I worked at Fairchild Publications on and off for many years at Women's Wear Daily, W, but also like Home Furnishings Weekly and the Daily News Record, which was like the men's version of Women's Wear Daily. And then from there, I freelanced for the New York Times, many women's magazines, New York Magazine. I'm writing again for New York Magazine now, writing for The Strategist, but mostly it's digital. So yeah, I miss print.
Yeah. Why do you misprint?
I don't know, it was really enjoyable. I mean, I still get print magazines. I subscribe to the New Yorker and New York Magazine and Harper's, and I love like poring over a magazine. I just love sitting with a print object in my lap. And because I worked at them, I know how much thought and care goes into the presentation, the layout. I mean, that happens digitally too, but there's something much more ephemeral about digital publishing, obviously, than print, which I guess is why I keep making anthologies because I make these print publications. I just love a print object, which is why I have like a bookcase with
Yeah.
lots and lots of
Yeah.
books.
Me too. Uh, so, I was like you, uh, drawing for the New Yorkers in the '80s, but also drawing for Working Mother, Gourmet, I can't remember, and Lampoon, all those print publications. I can't remember them all now. There were a lot, and drawing for them, and I would send my rejects. I would drop them off, walk to the offices and drop them off. Anything the New Yorker rejected, then we take them as a group. We would walk over there. Cartoonists would walk over to these other places.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun, and then we go out to lunch. So, but I wanted to ask you, and I'm trying to think of the answer myself. I know how the internet changed me in big, big, big ways. But does writing for print differ in the process or in your thinking than writing for the online?
Um, Writing and editing for online, um, required me to rethink certain things. Attention spans on the internet are much shorter. So it's funny because I was at a publication called Long Reads for 5 years where I was editing personal essays of 2,500 to 10,000 words. And, at the time, I think there was a craving for that. But even within that, I learned that I had to keep headlines very specific. They couldn't be vague, that they had to be something that people would click on in the midst of, receiving link upon link. What would make the headline something clickable for somebody? So I really learned how to make very specific headlines and subheadlines. And I also learned that you have to really give people a sense of where the piece is going. You have to grab them by the throat in the first 3 paragraphs in a way
Mhm,
you don't have to with print.
mhm,
When I've taught personal essay workshops, and I've said this, people have asked me, "Well, what about an essay like Joanne Beard's The Fourth State of Matter that's in The New Yorker, in which she wanders in for a long time before you get to the meat of the essay?" And
mhm,
I say, "Well, first of all, that is an expert piece, but second of all, it was written to be read in your hand in her essay collection and in The New Yorker." Um,
mhm.
so yeah, that's something
Yeah.
I've really had to recalculate how I present
Mhm,
essays and also how I edit them for myself
mhm,
and others.
mhm. Yeah. When I first
How about
started
you?
what?
How about for
Well, when
cartoons and, yeah, drawings?
what was really interesting when the internet started happening, I I discovered Women's E-News, which you may remember. If are they still publishing? I don't remember.
I don't know.
But they were taking my feminist cartoons, which was great. They were things very specific to feminism that the New Yorker didn't want, and that was exciting. Uh, and that was the beginning of sort of shifting my thinking. I wanted to be a political cartoonist from when I was a kid, and uh, and I discovered that the New Yorker had political cartoons in it, and I've sold ones to them, New Yorker style political cartoons, which most of our viewers probably understand what that means. They're not no, they're not like newspaper editorial
Right.
cartoons with Trump. I do those too, but for the New Yorker, they're usually politics coming in the side door, indirectly in the drawing. I've done those for them, but where was I going? Okay, so when with the internet, I started publishing more specifically uh, feminist cartoons for Women's E News, and then I did my TED Talk in 2010, and that opened up all kinds of doors. And Forbes Woman came to me and said, an editor there, we want you want to write for ForbesWomen.com, right? And do whatever you want. It was very exciting. Do whatever you want. So I started drawing and writing at the same time, putting words and drawings together in various ways. I did interviews with women comedians because I'm fascinated with women comedians.
Mm,
But what I learned there was, and I guess I did that for a couple of years. Uh, this is 2011, probably. Um, they really you were writing for clicks, and I didn't. My editor was very uh, um, uh, generous with me, and she wanted me to do whatever I wanted. But that didn't last too long. That's a
hmm.
couple of years, and then they started saying, "Well, you need to do more stuff to get clicks," and I really didn't like that.
Yeah.
So editorship changed, and I moved on. But now I did a lot more political cartoons specifically for online, working for a place called The Nib, which was a political
Oh, I
cartoonist.
loved the nib.
Oh. Yeah. And the editor, Matt Bors, there was very encouraging to me and helped me push the envelope of what I could draw about. And I drew about rape and incest, not incest, rape and abuse and things like that, which I'd never done before. So the internet gave me a free feeling of freedom and openness to try new things, which
Mm,
obviously the gatekeepers, the New Yorker great, they're great gatekeepers, but they are gatekeepers and they have a certain thing they wanna publish, and,
right.
and I had gotten used to what that is in my mind, so I had to sort of unlodge that a little bit and start thinking more about getting tougher and stronger with my opinions, so it's a long answer to your question, but yeah. Mm. And that sort of continues. Substack is great because Substack, and I know you agree, it's a way. There's no gatekeepers, and we have a direct connection with our audience, and it's wonderful.
It's been
You-
fantastic.
Hasn't it?
Yeah.
When did you
It's
join
been very
Substack?
I first joined Substack in 2019.
Mhm.
It's a long time ago. I joined Substack when Hamish McKenzie was still doing, tech support.
And everybody, Hamish is one of the owners, one of the co-founders, right? Hamish and
Yeah.
what was the other guy?
There's 2 others, Chris Best
Chris. Chris Best, yeah.
and
Anyway.
someone else. But, I mean, I've been on here a long time, but I didn't launch Oldster until 2021. We're about to celebrate 5 years of Oldster on Monday,
Mhm,
the
mhm.
31st.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But it's been really validating for me because, I've been a writer, I've been an editor, and, at all of the publications I've worked with have been wonderful, but also like very limiting. And here with Oldster and Memoirland, I'm able to follow my instincts, my curiosity, and it's taking me in directions that are mostly pleasing a large portion of my audience. So
Mhm.
it's been very validating
That's
of my
great.
instincts and my, yeah. How about you?
Well, let me turn this around and start drawing because I wanna, how about me?
Yeah.
I gotta go back and find out the date that I started my Substack seeing things, but it was around 19 or 20, I think. I don't remember. I should have an answer for that. But,
Yeah.
I know it was pre-pandemic. Anyway, let me turn this around because I want you to I'm gonna just push it on my down
Okay.
here, and I want you to talk and tell us what Oldster is.
Okay. So,
Sorry, buddy.
oh, whoops.
I think it's a really fascinating thing that you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Mhm,
So, Oldster Magazine explores what it means to travel through time in a human body at every phase of life. So, it's not just about old people or it's really about people of all ages. Although I would say the thrust is late millennial to silent generation, mostly people over 50, over 60. But I do often include younger people because I'm trying to foster intergenerational or cross generational conversation. Um, and I'm also trying to make a space where people can share um, their experience of getting older in their own words.
mhm,
And, there's a wide range of experiences of getting older from a variety of angles. And so I'm trying to really capture all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly.
mhm,
Um, and I'm also trying to destigmatize and normalize aging by showing that it's happening to everyone all the time. And a conversation I also often have with people is I tell them I was really freaking out about turning 60 last year, but more than that, I freaked out about turning 30. 30 was
mm,
really monumental for me, difficult for me. And I think that for a lot of people that age, getting older is hard because 30 is a big milestone in a lot of ways. Are you on the right career path? It's the margin, it's the not the margin, it's like the delineation between young adulthood and real adulthood. And are you set up for it? Are
mhm,
you, you know, ready to commit to a career path, a partner? Are you, if, for women in particular, are you going to have children?
mhm.
So I did a post on the quarter life crisis, and I got responses from people who are currently going through the quarter life crisis, which makes
What is the quarter life crisis? I don't know what that means.
the quarter life crisis happens to people between 25 and about 30, give or take a few years. None of these things are really really, have hard numbers associated with them. But roughly between 25 and 30, people start freaking out about, okay, I've been out of college a few years, or I've been on my career path a few years, and now I've got to go and become a real adult, and I'm not sure that I'm doing it right. And it's very common, and, I definitely went through it. I was in an early marriage, and, I left it at 26 and a half.
Mm,
As I write in my memoir, I felt like I had been living a lie, although I didn't know what the truth was, and so I had to
yeah.
figure that out.
Interesting. Yeah.
And so, I kind of threw over the game board of my life, and it turns out that's not very unique, that a lot of young adults start over, take new chances, try to reconfigure their career path, their life path between 25 and 30. And it's very anxiety provoking. It was for me. And
Mhm.
when I posted what I call an open thread about, how is the quarter life crisis going for you, or how was it for you? I got a wide range of responses, probably over 300. Um, Including, from people in their late 20s and early 30s, and also lots of people much older who said, I remember turning 30 and it was a big deal and it freaked me out. So that's part of why Oldster is not just about people who are old by our culture's standards.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I remember for me, it was 26 that was difficult. 30
Ah,
was not bad. I felt like 26, I had to pretend to be an adult, but at 26, I don't know why.
I felt like I was pretending to be an adult when I married at 23.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm
I was
sure.
I was, like, play acting what I thought an adult was. I
Mhm,
didn't know that. I didn't know I was doing that. You when you're that young, you are so impressionable, and
mhm.
you are so eager to make the right impression that you make some wacky choices. What were you doing at 26?
Uh, I was living in New York on the Upper West Side, and I sold my first cartoon in the New Yorker, when I was 24, I think, or 25. So I had a job at the Natural History Museum, in the art department, which was a great job, but I wanted to be a cartoonist. So I was
Mm.
at that point, actually, I was at the point where should I quit my job? I sold to the New Yorker. Is that a good reason to quit my job? I didn't right away, but I did eventually. Um, yeah, I mean, I think I don't know, I always wanted to be a cartoonist, so, it was not, um, that
You weren't
part
in
of
the
my
right
life.
place. Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you followed
and
so you followed your heart, and you wound up a
yeah,
cartoonist. That's pretty cool.
yeah, lucky sort of, not more than luck, but just, um persistence, and
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from. I guess it just, I had a good upbringing that my parents made me feel I could do anything I wanted, and I feel like I benefited, I'm older than you are, but I feel like I benefited from the, uh, the hippie wave. I was too young
Mhm.
to be a hippie, but there was a feeling, even though it's just a feeling, it really wasn't true yet, that women could do whatever they want.
Yeah,
A certain demographic, of course, I'm talking about.
right, and that was
Right,
like
right,
the having it all years. That was
yeah,
like the
yeah,
yeah,
right.
we can have it all.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, you can have things, you can't have them all.
Right.
That's um,
So, what kind of things does Oldster publish? Like, I think it's do you find people are, um, stereotyping Oldster as something for older people?
um,
Mm,
sometimes I think that some younger people don't get what it's about,
mhm,
but also I sometimes struggle to have older people accept that I include younger people.
mm,
For a while, anytime I would feature anyone like under 68, they would, kind of go nuts on me. And at the time, early in Oldster's existence, I was, 56. And I would say, well, I'm 56 and I make this magazine and I'm interested in everyone's experience of getting
Mm.
older because I'm just curious about everyone's experience and how it relates to mine and how it doesn't. And
Uh-huh.
I've mostly gotten the audience to expand their understanding of what I'm offering. But what I'm offering is personal essays and also interviews. I have a very popular feature called the Oldster Magazine Questionnaire. It publishes on Wednesdays. And every week I feature someone else. But whether it's a personal essay or an interview or a comment that someone leaves, I have people talking about their experience of getting older in their own words.
Mhm.
Um, and it's like a collection. It's like, in a way, Oldster is kind of like a study for me. I'm studying aging. Like, what is it about? Because I'm curious about it, and I have been actually since I was 10. Because and this is a
Hmm.
story I've told a million times, but my uncle came to my 10th birthday party, and the first thing he said to me was, "Wow, you'll never be one digit again." And it was just like, whoa, you know. And it began this obsession for me of, you know, am I on track? Should I be doing something different at this age? What are other people doing? What are other people feeling? Um, and so that's where it comes from for me. Yeah, so I mostly more than like I'm not really doing service journalism except a little bit I'm recommending books. Um, and I'll also like occasionally publish a study that I've read, about a study that I've read, or I'll interview someone who conducted a study, that kind of thing. But mostly it's not service journalism. I find that can be really flat. I really just want us to learn from other people's experiences. In the same way that I love memoir and I also publish Memoirland, um,
Mhm.
I prefer people's personal stories to self-help, uh, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm also trying to highlight the possibilities later in life that our culture doesn't want you to know about. And every now and then someone will accuse me of being toxically positive. But and because of that, I also try to include people's difficult experiences. And
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. That's funny, toxically positive, because I think I could be accused of that as well. Um, uh, what I love in Substack is the comments. I have mine set so that only paid subscribers can comment. So it's become a community of people that, they give me their thoughts about what I'm writing about. And they give me their thoughts about my cartoons and how their cartoons make them think about somebody in their life or some episode in their life, or and they'll tell me that they don't think it's funny, which is helpful to hear too. So I love that kind of exchange with people, because for me, that's what it's all about. Cartooning
Yeah.
and writing is about interacting with other people and sharing what your life experience is about.
Yeah.
So, mm,
Yeah. I really enjoy that too. And that's, kind of where I'm coming from as the person who publishes Memoirland and who has worked with memoir and personal essay for so long, and I've brought that over to Ulster. Um,
mhm, mhm,
yeah, I just love people sharing their personal experiences, and
yeah,
most of the time it goes well. Every now and then people have harsh reactions to other people's experiences, and that's a little difficult for me to, engage with, but it is what it is. It's a community, and in communities, there are sometimes challenges and
that's
conflicts.
for sure. So let me turn this back over to the drawing, and I'll tell
Oh,
you what
yeah.
I. So,
Tell me.
thinking in anticipation of talking to you about Ulster, really, and trying to understand what you're doing, and I love one of the things you say on your website on the site is, uh, we all of us are as old as we've ever been in any given time. So when you're 27, you've never been 27 before, so you're trying to figure it out. When you're, in your 61, you've never been 61 before. So I think that's so true and so fascinating. It's a great way to look at it. So
Yeah,
anyway.
I try to
Mhm.
point out to people, like, everyone here is the oldest we've ever been, and
Exactly.
so wherever you are on the timeline of a life, you feel old. The
Yeah,
numbers sound like you don't necessarily feel old. Sometimes the number doesn't jibe with how you feel.
right. I mean,
So, yeah.
I still feel 40, so or even 27, so I don't know. So here's the drawing. It's 2 women at a bar, obviously, and, here's some of the captions that I came up with, and I don't know if I'm being well, I'll just read them.
Okay.
First one is, and they're not in order of preference, they're just in order of how I thought of them. "If I were younger, I would not be able to handle getting older." Oh, good, thank you. Uh, "Aging is not for the young."
Hmm.
Um, Next one is, "The only people who can handle aging are older people." I'm just tapping on wisdom, as you get
Yeah,
older,
yeah, yeah,
you do
yeah.
get wisdom, so you feel like you could when at 26, I would not have I didn't even dream I'd ever be 70, so, um, you you have the wisdom to handle being 70, and then you look at people older than you, and you get wisdom from them too. And
Yeah.
then finally, I thought of the phrase, "Youth may be wasted on the young, but aging is best handled by the old."
Oh, I like that one a
Do you?
lot. Yeah.
Well, I think what I'll do is I'll post the drawing and I'll post all these captions on there and see what people think.
Oh, that's a
I don't
great idea. Yeah,
I
let
don't
people
even
vote.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't really like caption contests, but that's not what this is. It's just like a dialogue. It's like, let's talk
Yeah,
about
it's interactive. Let's
yeah,
see what we
let's talk
like.
people think works.
And I love the drawing, and I love the captions.
Oh, good.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much. That
Yeah,
was
you're
really
welcome.
fun.
Um,
Yeah,
what
that
else?
was
What else?
really fun.
The other thing, I guess we're at 30 minutes now.
Yeah.
Uh, so we can wrap up by talking about let's see what people are saying first. Aging is not for the sissy. Yeah. I've heard that before. Aging is not for the weak. Um, Positivity is so big and I'm broad, but I also have deep pain. Yeah. Joy can sit right next to grief. So true, Rebecca.
Yep. It's really
Um,
complex. Like any life experience, getting older
yeah.
is really complex.
Oh, it's crazy. Um, and then you have to have a lot of conversations with your body too, because it's not
Oh,
doing what it used
god.
to do. Uh, Longevity is different for everyone. I'm 42, but my family doesn't seem to make it past 55. Oh dear. People roll their eyes when I talk about aging because I'm, quote, so young. Interesting. So there's her experience, or is that a her? I'm sorry if I missed your, yes, Sarah. Um, there's her experience with her family, you know.
It's so variable. It's so variable, and it's so interesting to me to hear the range of experiences.
Mhm.
Um, you know, the work I succeed with most and best is when I follow my curiosity and my anxiety, the combination of both. And like, so when I was leaving New York City and did not want to be leaving New York City, and then once I was living upstate, I had this anxiety about like, should I be still living in New York City? Should I have found a way to stay there? Or not, like, and so that anxiety and curiosity about other people's experiences led to a book, and the same thing led to Oldster. Like,
Mhm.
what's everyone else's experience of getting older?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm so interested in everyone's
Mhm.
various experiences.
It's so yeah, and again, that's what we have in common. Like, maybe all writers are like this, but
Yeah,
that's what cartooning is. It's curiosity
yeah,
and wanting to understand other people and how they live their lives, and, um, because it's just fascinating.
yeah. And I'm so fascinated to see how you work and how quickly you drew that. That's amazing.
Well, thank you. Um, alright, well, I guess let's just wrap it up there. We'll post this
Sounds
on our
great.
respective sites. Follow Sari on her various publications, and I have just one, so, um seeing things. You guys know you're here because you subscribe. Um, and what else can I say? I think that's it.
That sounds great. I will, and we live near each other, so hopefully one of these days we can cross paths up here in the Mid Hudson Valley.
Definitely, yeah. And we should talk also about New York and leaving New York. I haven't completely left New York. I'm there half the time in the city. So, but I think we share a fascination and a
Yeah, yeah,
passion for New York. So,
sounds good. All right,
okay. Thanks everybody for being here. See you
All right.
later. Bye, Sari. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.